Good morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, as you can see, we have got some harvesting to do in this beautiful garden. It is early in the morning and you can hear the kookaburras starting their call now. But as you can see here, we've got a lot of broccolis and I have never had success with broccoli before. We've also got a stack of broad beans here, something else I've never grown before. We need to harvest those as well, but I want to show you something that I thought wasn't going to work, that I thought had died. I'm very excited about it. Behind me is my asparagus bed. So there's also tomatoes that I put in yesterday or the day before, and some capsicum or sweet pepper plants. But what you can see here is that finally my asparagus emerged. It was months and I just was like, oh, I think they might be dead. Oh, I don't think they're coming up. And then all of a sudden they've emerged, and there was one other one that I was like, oh, it's definitely dead. The other three have emerged and this guy is just like asleep, but it's come out. So this is the spear that has just emerged, and they say that you shouldn't harvest them the first year. These ones should be harvested the second year, and I'm pretty sure these are Mary Washington asparagus, but you can see they've produced, the spear has turned into this lovely fluffy thing. This is part of the reason why I chose to plant these asparagus here, because when they become mature it will be just like a full hedge of that, which is looks a bit messy once they get going, so I thought I'd keep it up the back of the veggie garden bed, a little bit out of sight. And you can see this bed's coming along nicely. I need to mulch it in today. I just really haven't had time, because I've been painting all day and then just using the last 45 minutes of daylight hours to come out into the garden. So these are all sweet capsicums. These green feast peas have really struggled, and I think it's because this soil held a ton of water and it just took forever to dry out, and then all of a sudden we had 35-degree days for a week. It's like the second week of spring. And the week before had been like put your fire on at night weather, so it was, you know, from 12 to 18 degrees in the day to 35, so it was a bit crazy. So these are Super Roma tomatoes, and I've picked up these basils from the supermarket because I've actually had the most success with basils from the supermarket. There is nothing here yet. We will deal with that later, but I want to leave some space for those oyas that we made together yesterday, and we've got a whole bunch of marigold seedlings coming up through here. Obviously that is a companion plant for most plants in the garden, but I also read that marigolds are a deterrent for snakes, and after that little situation we had a few weeks ago, I don't know if I believe that marigolds are a deterrent for snakes, but you're going to see a lot of marigolds. We have a couple of very underwhelming cauliflowers, which I will also harvest from this bed. They look super stressed and they look like the head is starting to separate, so we'll pop them out as well today. Something else I didn't think we would see is this little blackberry. It's a thornless blackberry, and I mean, it needs some water today, but I've been looking after this thing. And as you can see, the raspberry is quite happy, and the blackberry was just dormant for a really, really long time. And I was sort of like, hello, anybody home? And finally, someone's home. So everything in the garden is looking really fantastic, except for these sugar snap peas and the green feast peas. And these have just looked miserable from day one. Initially, again, because the amount of water that this soil held onto was insane, and then because they got torched last week in the heat and they're pretty crispy. So I mean, I've tried putting a little bit of fertilizer in there now that the potatoes are going, and watering them a bit more now that the soil's dried out, but I think they might be a lost cause. Anyway, let's get on to our harvest. These broccoli just look absolutely incredible. They look like if I leave them much longer, they will actually start to bloom. I cut off one head yesterday and gave it to my builder because he turned up on a Saturday. So I thought, you know, you deserve a broccoli. But look at this one. I hope you can see it. It is absolutely massive. And I have never had any success at all with broccoli before. So I'm going to leave the rest of the broccoli plant in situ because there are these teeny tiny little broccolis coming up here. On some of the plants they're a little bit more developed, like these two here. These beets were so root bound together when I planted them. I know you're not supposed to plant them in seedling trays, but that was just how they came into my world. So to be honest, I'm pretty surprised that we got a couple of decent sized beets. Oh, they've popped down to keep an eye on us. Well, that's all we've got time for today. We've got to get inside and do some painting, but we got a fantastic harvest. I can't believe we harvested this and we don't actually live here yet. But thank you so much for hanging out with us today, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.